everyone, so today I'll be breaking down 2 Instagram posts. So the first post that I'm gonna break down is a post from Lisa from Blackpink, and she posted this, I believe, a few weeks ago after a concert in Seoul, and we're gonna break down what she wrote sentence by sentence. So let's start with the first sentence. So she starts off the sentence by saying 블링크. Blink is a fandom name of Blackpink, so you can see that she's addressing her fans. So Blinks, Blink. 제가 is a combination of 저, which means I, and 가, a subject marker, right? And when I, 저, is combined with the subject marker, 가, it changes its form to 제, and then you put 가. So it's not 저가, it's 제가. So I, 제가 좀 means a bit, a little, and 늦었죠 is a combination of 늦다, which means to be late, and you can see that 늦다 is conjugated in past tense, so 늦다, past tense, and she ends the sentence with the sentence ending or a question ending, 조, right? 조. And 조, when it's a question ending, it's a question of confirmation, affirmation. So she's like saying blah, 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 right? It's like saying blah, 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 right? So this sentence that she wrote means I, a bit late, right? So it means I'm a bit late, right? And one question that you might have here is, why is 늦다 conjugated in past tense when it's translated in present tense in English? And that's actually a good question, and it's because of the nature of the word 늦다. So I translated it to be late, but a more accurate translation would be to get late. So 늦다 is practically a verb, right? When you say you're late to somewhere, it means it's already past the starting time, or your ETA, you know that your ETA will already be later than the time you're supposed to arrive. So in Korean's perspective, we think it already got late. It's already past the time we're supposed to arrive. So in that case, it makes sense to say it got late rather than it gets late. So that's why when we say I am late, we usually conjugate 늦다, which means to get late, in past tense. So if you want to say, for example, I'm late to class, it means it already got late, right? You know that you'll arrive past the starting time. So what you can say is, to class 수업에 늦었어요. 늦었어요. Conjugated in past tense. I'm already late. It already got late to class. Rather than 늦어요. So 수업에 늦어요 with present tense conjugation can be used when you're letting someone know that, you'll be late in the future. But when you want to say you're already late to a certain meeting or class or something that you're supposed to be present at a certain time, then you can conjugate it in past tense. 수업에 늦었어요. So Lisa posted this a bit later than she was supposed to post it, like right after the concert, but it came a bit late, like 1 or 2 days late. So she's saying it got a bit late, right? Literally, it got a bit late, as in I'm a bit late, right? 제가 좀 늦었죠? I'm a bit late, right? And moving on to the next one. In the next sentence, 오랜만에 means for the first time, in a long time. So you can just memorize this as a chunk, or if you liked to break it down, it's a combination of 오래 plus 니은 받침 plus 만에. So 오래 means a long time. And 만에 is usually placed after a time noun, as in duration, the amount of time. When you say time 만에, and then certain action, it means you finished this action with this time frame. Or you got to do this action after this amount of time. So 오래 and 니은받침 만에, 오랜만에 means you got to do that action after a long time. After a long time. So for the first time in a long time. So 오랜만에 블링크 we learned this is a fandom name. 블링크 앞에서. So 앞 means front. 에서 is a particle that means in. So 앞에서 means in front. So in front of blinks. 블링크 앞에서 공연할 수 있어서 공연하다 means to perform combined with 을 수 있다 which means can, to be able to, combined with 어서, the conjunction that means so. So 공연하다, perform, and you can see that 공연하다 and 리을 받침 수 있다 is combined, 수 있다, and 수 있다 is conjugated in present tense, and then 서 is added, right? 어서 means so, therefore, and it's a conjunction that comes from 그래서, right? So, 공연할 수 있어서 would mean I was able to perform in front of blinks for the first time in a long time, after a long time. So, 있어서, so, 너무 설레고 행복했어요. 너무 설레고 행복했대요. So 너무 means very, too much. And 설레다 means excited. You're very excited. To be excited. 설레다. Excited in a way that makes your heart flutter. 설레다. 설레고 행복했어요. 행복하다 means to be happy, and 행복하다's past conjugation would be 행복했어요, right? So was happy. So I was very excited and happy. I was very excited and happy. So this 고 is another conjunction that comes from 그리고. Basically, you can put the stem of the verb and connect it with 고 to mean and. Verb and verb, or adjective and adjective. So I was excited and happy. I was very excited and happy because I was able to perform in front of blinks. 오랜만에 블링크 앞에서 공연할 수 있어서 너무 설레고 행복했어요. Alright, and let's move on to the next one. So she keeps mentioning blinks. Blink, her fans. 블링크가, 가, the subject marker. So blinks, you guys are the subject in this sentence. 엄청 also means very. And there are many ways to say very, guys. So let me write a couple of words that mean very here. 엄청 and 너무 we just learned. You can also say 많이. And this would more mean a lot. You can also say 아주, 매우, or 참, 되게, 진짜. For me personally, I use a lot of 엄청, 너무 as well, 또 많이, 그리고 되게도 많이 써요. Korean people use 되게 a lot. And 참 is mostly used in writings, and 진짜 as well. 이렇게 많이 써요. 엄청, 너무 많이, 되게, 진짜. They all mean very, very. So 엄청, very, 열심히 is an adverb that means hard. And not to confuse it with hard as in difficult. It's not an adjective that means like hard as in difficult, but it's an adverb hard as in you do something assiduously. You do something with all your heart. That kind of heart. So 열심히, with all your heart, like diligently, assiduously. 열심히. 노래 means a song. It could also mean singing. So it's a noun that means a song or singing. 노래도 is a particle that means also or even. 노래도, a song as well, or song, even song. 같이, this one is pronounced 같이, and it means together. A similar word would be 함께. 같이, 노래도 같이 불러주고. So here, 노래, you can see 부르다 verb is used here. 노래를 부르다. So we just learned 노래 means a song. And when you say 노래를 부르다, it literally means to sing a song. So you cannot just say 부르다 for singing. You have to use 노래, the noun 노래, and 부르다 at the same time. Otherwise, 부르다 itself won't mean to sing. 부르다 more means like to call someone, as in like beckoning someone to come here. But 노래를 부르다 would mean something different, which is to sing. 노래를 부르다. 노래도 같이 불러주고. So let's break this part down. 불러주고. Let's bring it down here. 부르다, conjugated in present tense to add 주다, 주다 auxiliary verb combined with the conjunction 고, which we learned means and, right? That comes from 그리고. So 부르다, 노래를 부르다, we learned it means to sing. And 부르다 is an irregular verb. So the conjugated form of 부르다 would be 불러주고. So what 주다 auxiliary verb mean is this is always used to imply that this action, that preceding action, is a kind action. It's an act of kindness, or it's done for others' sake, or it's done in favor of others. 주다 verb. So that's why 주다 is very often used when you're asking a favor or when you're thanking someone for their action. So basically, you sing along with us with all your heart, with very much all your heart, and 춤춰줘서. So 노래 부르다 means to sing, whereas 춤을 추다 means to dance. So it has a very similar pattern. 춤 is a noun that means dance, as in dancing, and 추다 is a verb that means dance. So you have to say 춤을 추다, literally to dance a dance. 춤을 추다. So 불러주고, you sang with us, and 춤춰줘서 this time as well, she is using 주다 auxiliary verb because the way their fans sing along with them and dance along with them is something that they find very heartwarming, or it was done in favor of Blackpink and it really cheered them up. So she's showing how thankful she is by adding 주다 auxiliary verb. So 춤춰줘서 dance with us, for us. So 주다, and again another so you sing and dance with us. So 춤춰줘서, and the next part, 춤춰줘서 제가 힘이 나서 더 즐겁게 공연할 수 있었던 것 같아요. 제가 힘이 나서, once again, 제가, 저 플러스가 I, right? 제가 힘이 나서, 힘이 났대요. She is 힘이 났대요. 힘이 나다. So 힘 literally means strength or energy. And when you say something 이가 나다, means noun, that something comes up, that something arises. My strength came up. So it means like you were energized, you're cheered up because you were dancing and singing along with us. 제가 힘이 나서, and she uses another 서, the sentence connector, which means so, right? So, 힘이 나서, I got more energized. So, 더, more, 즐겁게, 즐겁다 means to be joyful. So 즐겁게, when K is added after a adjective, it changes it into adverb. It doesn't work for all adjectives, but many of them. So 즐겁게 would mean joyfully, joyfully. 더 즐겁게, more joyfully, 공연할 수 있다, conjugated in past tense. 있었던 것 같아요. So if you say verb는 것 같아요, it means I think or I feel like it's something is verb or something does verb. And the past tense, like I think something was verb, would be 것 같아요. So for example, if you want to say I think I slept for 10 hours, for example, this slept is past tense, right? So how you can translate this using 것 같아요 is for 10 hours, 10시간 동안, sleep is 자다. So 자다 plus 니은 받침 잔 것 같아요. 10시간 동안 잔 것 같아요. And if you want to say, I think 지수 is sleeping. So 지수 is sleeping is present tense, right? Present tense. In this case, you can use this suffix over here by putting 는 after verb stem. So I think 지수 is sleeping would be 지수가 자다 stem plus 는 것 같아요. 자는 것 같아요. I think 지수 is sleeping. So that's how you can use 것 같아요 with past verbs and present verbs. But there is another way to say past or a past modifier, which is verb as었던. And we're going to learn more in detail about 던 in one of the next classes, but 던 here is also a past tense modifier. So in that way, it's similar to 니은, verb 니은, which is also a past tense modifier. They work a little differently, but for now, you can just remember they both are past tense modifier. So she is saying, 있었던 것 같아요. I think I was able to, right? So basically, actually, let's break this down one more time. 공연할 수 있었던 것 같아요. Let's use this space over here. 공연하다, we learned it means to perform, right? To perform in front of the audience, on stage, in a concert. 공연하다 plus 수 있다. We learned it means can, be able to, right? And then she conjugated in past tense. 했었던 것 같아요, right? So 공연하다, perform. 을 수 있다, can, to be able to, and she conjugated in past tense to mean I think it was, right? I think I was. So I think I was able to perform. I think I was able to perform joyfully, more joyfully, 더 즐겁게, because I was more energized. So one thing about when you're reading a sentence, so right now, for your convenience, for your understanding, I'm translating it backwards. But that's actually not a good habit when you're actually doing reading comprehension or you're trying to understand what a certain sentence means, because it's so much better if you get used to the Korean sentence structure rather than its English equivalent. So it would be way better if you translate it. 제가 힘이 나서, okay, I was energized, so, okay, more joyfully, okay, 공연하다, you perform, you were able to perform, and I feel that way. Okay. And then you get the whole message that, she was able to perform more joyfully because she got energized by us singing and dancing along with them. So that would be a better practice than like translating it backwards to fit it into English. But right now I'm doing that to just help you guys understand the sentence, to kind of break down the sentence in a way that makes more sense for you. But when you're practicing it alone, it would, I promise you, it's way better to translate it in order it's written so that you can get used to the Korean sentence order. Okay, 다음에 let's look at her last sentence. 많이 사랑해요, 블링크. So 많이 was one of the words I listed that we use for very. So 많이 literally means a lot. So a lot or very. 사랑해요. I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows what 사랑해요 is. 사랑하다 means to love. And 사랑해요 is 사랑하다's present conjugation, right? So 사랑해요 means I love you. I love you a lot. 많이 사랑해요. 블링크. I love you, Blinks. 절대 아프지 않고 월드 투어 잘 하고 올게요. 절대. She writes 절대. She puts exclamation mark after 절대 to emphasize never. Never. So 절대 actually means absolute. Its literal meaning is absolute. And it can also mean never when it's followed by a negative verb or adjective. It has to be followed by a negative verb or adjective to mean never. So in that way, it's different from English in that you guys say, like, I never give up, right? You guys don't have to negate the verb that comes after never. But in Korean, for 절대 to mean negative, never, it has to be followed by a negated verb or adjective. So that's why Lisa says 아프지 않고. The negated adjective follows, right? 아프지 않고. 아프다 means to be sick. 지 않다 is one of the negated form. It's how you can negate a verb or adjective, right? So not sick, not get sick. So I will never get sick. 절대 아프지 않고 and 않고 and 않고. The reason why I pronounce it like 코 is because 히읗 받침 combined with 히읗 produces k sound, right? So that's why this whole phrase together is pronounced 않고. 절대 아프지 않고. I will never get sick. And world tour. You can guess this is a Koreanized English word that comes from world tour. world tour. 잘하고 올게요. So 잘하다 plus 오다 plus 올게요. So 잘하다 literally means well, do it well. 오다 literally means and then come. And 올게요 is a future tense ending. So it literally means I will, we will do it well and then come back. So why do you even have to say 오다? Isn't it obvious that they're going to come back? It's a common way of saying, I will do this, and you imply that you will be coming back after this. For example, like you're talking at a coffee shop with your date, for example, and then you feel like you need to wash your hands. And then you can tell him, 손 씻고 올게. 손 씻고 올게. So 손 means hand, 씻다 means to wash. So wash hand, 고 올게. Literally means I will come back after I wash my hands. So it's kind of a polite way of saying I have to take care of this right now, but you are being considerate enough to tell them that you will be coming back. So it's kind of like saying, please excuse me, I'll come back after this. 고오다 많이 쓰여요. To imply that, you'll be coming back after something. 잘하고 올게요. 잘하고 올게요. I won't get sick and world tour. 잘하고 올게요. I will come back after, we do our best on world tour. And this ending, 올게요. 올게요 is a future tense, right? It's a future tense ending, 올게요. And the difference between verb 올게요 and verb 올 거예요, I actually made a separate lesson on this, so you can check it in the lesson here. But one of the major difference would be that 올게요 is used when you're promising, when you're making promise to someone else. And 올 거예요 is just, a general statement, a future tense, So in a way, 올게요 sounds more intimate, I would say, 올게요. And polite in some cases as well. So, 하고 올게요, I promise. I will come back and not get sick, ever. Okay, so that was a breakdown of Lisa's post. You can maybe pause the video and try reading it. And just for your reference, guys, Lisa changes some of the spelling of certain words, and it's not because she doesn't know the spelling. It's more because she wants to sound, more cute. When we're texting or posting on social media, we tend to change some of the spellings just to sound cute and more likable too. So that's what's happening, just in case you're confused, like why did she write this way and why did you write it differently? Okay, so before I move on to the next Instagram post, let me introduce you guys to an amazing app you can use while studying Korean by yourself. And it's an app called Mirinae, which is also a sponsor of this video. It's free to download, and I'll show you how it works from scratch. So if you insert a Korean text in the text box, so let's bring one of the sentences in Lisa's post, and then you click Analyze. You can see the detailed breakdown of a sentence, and every single element in a sentence is explained. And you can also find a full translation here. And if you'd like to learn more about a certain element, you can click on it, and then you can see its meaning and its function. And this part below this blue line, you can unlock this by subscribing to Mirinae's Pro plan. And here you can check more detailed explanation alongside example sentences. You can also type some of the discussion and chat with other learners. And you can also check all the lessons that they provide from beginner level, intermediate to advanced. And I believe the lessons are still in the making, and more lessons are coming on this app. And let's check one of the many lessons that are available on this app and see how the class works. In the meantime, guys, you can get a 1-month free trial of Mirinae's Pro plan if you click the link in the description box and follow their instruction. So I hope you take advantage of this opportunity and get your free trial. Another perk of having a pro plan is that you can use the OCR, the text recognition function, by taking a picture of a Korean text, or just simply by uploading a screenshot or a photo, and it will type the text for you. As you can see, this will be a super helpful learning tool, especially if you're studying by yourself or when you come across a certain sentence that you really like to know what it means and why it means that, but you don't have a teacher or a friend around you that can help you right away. So do click that link in the description box and get your free trial, and let me know how you find this app. Now let's move on to our next Instagram post, which is from the actress Yeajin. I'm pretty sure you know her from the drama Crash Landing on You. She's now married to Hyunbin, who starred in that same drama, and she wrote this post before her marriage to announce her marriage with Hyunbin. So I selected about 3 sentences that we could look at. So first one is this one. Second one is this one. This is pretty long sentence. And then our third sentence would be this one. So let's start from the first sentence. 제 남은 인생을 함께할 사람이 생겼어요. Okay, so 제 is the abbreviation of 저의, which means my, right? So my, 제 남은 인생, 남은 인생. So this is a combination of 남다, which is a verb that means to remain or to be left, and 남 plus the modifier 은, and 인생. 인생 means a noun, and it comes from a Chinese character that means a person's life. So 인생 means someone's life in general, and 남은 인생 would be one's remaining life. remaining life. So 제 remaining life, 제 남은 인생을 함께할. There should be space in between. There you go. So 함께. We learned 함께 when we're doing 같이 in Lisa's post. 함께 and 같이 means the same thing. It means together. Together. 함께 할 사람이 생겼어요. So let's bring this one down here. So 함께 하다, 함께 하다 means to do something together, right? But what are they doing? What is the object of do? It's 남은 인생, her remaining life. They do remaining life together. 남은 인생. So this 하다, by context, you can figure out it more means to spend. Spend the rest of one's life together. So you can also use 보내다 here. 보내다, to spend time, to spend life. 보내다. 남은 인생을 함께 하다, and then future suffix 리을 받침 is added here, right? 할 리을 받침 사람. And 사람 is the final modified noun. So 사람 means a person, and 을 is the future modifier, right? So it could be translated like that well. Oops, my cat is stepping on my iPad right now. Sorry about that. So that well, a person that I will spend together the rest of my life with. 남은 인생을 함께할 사람. 제 남은 인생을 함께할 사람. The person that I will be spending the rest of my life with. 이 생겼어요. 이 생겼어요. So if you say noun plus subject marker, 이가 생기다. 생기다. This 생 actually comes from the Chinese character. This Chinese character. So it's the same character in 인생. So 생 can mean life. It could also mean birth. So something that wasn't there before is now here. So 생 applies that. So 생기다 means something came into existence, something came about, something that wasn't there, something I didn't have before, now I have, or now there is. So now 이가 생기다. It can be used for your friends as well. If you make friends in school, in your new school, you can say 친구가 생겼어요. I made new friends. 친구가 생겼어요. It literally means friends came into existence, like in my life, right? 친구가 생겼어요. It sounds a little weird when translated in English, but 생기다 is used very often in Korean. It's one of the verbs that's used very often in Korean. So 이 생기다, she now has a person that she'll be spending the rest of her life with. 할 사람이 생겼어요. 생겼어요. 생기다 has another meaning, which is to have a certain appearance, to look a certain way, to have certain appearance. So if you say like 잘생기다, it means somebody looks well. So it means somebody's good looking, somebody is handsome. It's usually used for men, because handsome in English as well, it's used for men as well. And if you say 못생기다, 못생기다. 못 means can't. It also means like poorly. If you want to say you can't speak Korean that well, you can say 한국어 못해요. 못해요. As in, it could be you can't do it, but it could also be you speak it very poorly. So 못 means poorly. So 못생기다 would be ugly. So 못생기다 would be to be ugly. And 생기다 is one of those verbs that are usually conjugated in the past tense, even if it means present tense. For example, if you want to say someone is handsome, like Jin is handsome. In English, this one is present tense, right? So logically, we would think that 잘생기다 should be conjugated. But like I said, 잘생기다 or 못생기다 is conjugated in past tense to mean present tense. And there are a couple of other verbs like that. We're going to look at some other verbs that work like that, but let's try translating this sentence first. So Jin is handsome. You can say 진이는 잘생겨요 would be wrong. This has to be conjugated in past tense, but it still means present tense. 잘생겼어요. Conjugation in past tense. 진이는 잘생겼어요. It would mean Jin is handsome. And also 남다. We learned 남다 in 손예진's post. She says 남은 인생. Oh, we learned this verb when we're doing 남은 인생. So 남다 is also one of those verbs that are conjugated in past tense, even if it translates to present tense in English. So 남다, we learned it means to remain or to be left. And you would have noticed that she used 남은 인생 for remaining life, right? So in English, remaining life means the life that remains. So this is present tense, but you can see that in Korean, 은 suffix is added, right? 은. And we learned that if 니은 받침 or 은 is placed after a verb, this is a past tense modifier, right? Past tense modifier. It changes the verb into past tense modifier. So 남은 is past tense, right? And this is because 남다, like I said, 남다 is also conjugated past tense to mean present tense. So if you want to say, for example, the food is left, as in I did not finish my food, you can say 음식이 남았어요. We would normally conjugate it in past tense. So even if in English translation, it's present tense, in Korean, we conjugate it in past tense. 남았어요. 음식이 남았어요. And for leftover food, you can say 남은 음식, food that has been left. 남은 음식, leftover food, 남은 음식. Okay, so now let's move on to the second sentence. 남녀가 만나 마음을 나누고 미래를 약속한다는 것은 뭔가 상상 밖의 일이라고 생각했는데 우리는 자연스럽게 여기까지 오게 됐네요. So since this is pretty long, let's divide it into 3 parts. This one, and the last one. Okay, so let's translate let's break down the first part together. 남녀가. So 남녀 is the subject in this sentence, and 가 is a subject marker, right? 가 is a subject marker. 남녀 means, so 남자, 여러분 남자 알죠? 남자 and 여자. 남자 means male, male men. 여자 means female. And this 여 comes from this Chinese character. And when 여 is placed after another letter, when 여 is not at the front part, but after another letter, it becomes 여. So 여 becomes 녀, but it means the same thing. So 남녀 means male and female. 남녀, male and female가 만나. So 만나다, let me use the different color. 만나다 means to meet, right? To meet. And here you can see that it's just the present tense conjugation, and then there's no suffix added after it. And this is not the end of the sentence, right? That means there should be some suffix added. And actually, 만나 is a contraction form of 만나서. You can see that 서 is removed because you can remove it when 서 means certain thing. So what certain thing could 서 mean? So we learned that verb conjugation, present tense conjugation plus 서 means verb so, right? So, therefore. So the previous sentence, so, right? So, and it comes from 그래서. So 아어서 can mean so, therefore. It also means verb and then. So the following action happens after verb. Verb and then you do another verb. So here it means the second thing. So 남녀가 만나서 man and a woman meet and then next thing is something that happens after they meet. And then 마음을 나누고. So 마음 means your heart. It could be your thoughts, your mind. Mind, 마음. And 나누다. Its first meaning is to divide something. So when you divide something, it's usually to share the pieces to other people, right? So 나누다 can also mean to share. So here 마음을 나누다 means to share one's heart. So a man and a woman meet and then they share their heart and 미래를 약속한다는 것은. So 마음 could mean like the feeling of love here, right? 나누고 and they share their heart and 미래 future 약속하다 promise. They promise a future. 은다는 것. So you guys, I think many of you already know that 거 means thing, right? And do you guys remember the nominalization form of the verb? So you can change a verb into a noun by adding 는 거 or 는 것, right? 는 거 or 는 것, right? And 는 것 could mean verb ing. This is gerund, right? So this is a noun. It could also mean the fact that, subject, verb. It could also mean what, subject, verb. So this nominalized form has a couple of meanings. And if you say verb 는 다는 것, so this grammar is a quotation grammar. So if you want to say like, I said, you're quoting what someone said, what you yourself said or someone else said, or you're quoting your own thoughts. In English, it goes something like this, right? This is the sentence, subject, verb, object, subject, verb, object. But in Korean, we first write the quoted sentence. Actually in Korean, the word order should be opposite, right? Verb comes last. And then you put 는 or 는 suffix after a verb. And then 타고, you could say 말했어요, said. Or 생각했어요. So this is from the quotation grammar. 는다 is the same grammar. So 는다 는 것 means thing, or here it more means a fact. The fact, and this is the content that modifies 것, the fact that something verb. So the difference between 는 것 and verb 는다는 것 would be that verb 는 것 is a broader nominalization form, whereas this one is more like the fact that. It just provides the content for the fact or the thing or the matter that you're talking about. So 는다는 것. So the fact that or the matter that female and male meet and then share their heart and promise a future, the whole matter of that, 슨 뭔가 is a combination of what, right? 뭐, and then in one of the question ending, 은가, so it's a combination of 뭔가. So it literally means like, what is it, right? What is it? But colloquially, 뭔가 is usually used to mean somewhat. So you can't really point a finger at what it is, what the reason is, 뭔가, but you somewhat feel that, somewhat, 뭔가. 상상 밖의 일이라고 생각했는데, so 상상 means imagination. 상상하다 would literally mean to do an imagination, so it means to imagine. And if you say 상상력, this 력 comes from Chinese character, and this means strength or power. So if you say 상상력, it means your imagination power. So it's more like your ability to imagine things. So it means imagination as in your creativity, that's linked to your creativity. Whereas 상상 is just an imagination itself. It doesn't have anything to do with creativity necessarily, it's just the imagination itself. Whatever you imagine, that's yours. 상상. So 상상, imagination. 밖 means outside. 일. So 일, first of all, it means work, but it could also extend to the meaning of matter. It could also be thing. So thing of outside my imagination. So it's something that's beyond my imagination, right? 상상 밖의 일이라고 생각했는데. 이라고 생각했는데. So do you guys remember that I briefly mentioned the quotation grammar here? verb는 하고 말했어요. So 이라고 is also a quotation grammar. And since the next verb is 생각하다, to think. We learned this here, right? 생각하다, to think. She is quoting her own thoughts. So why is it 라고 when we learned that 타고 is the quoted form? And it's because different rule applies depending on whether it's verb or adjective or even 이다 verb. So when you're quoting a sentence that ends in a verb, then you can put 니은 or 는. We're talking about present tense quoted sentence. So you could put 니은는 타고. Whatever verb that comes next, like it could be said, or it could be think, or it could be tell, blah, blah, blah. And if it's adjective, the sentence ends in adjective, you don't need any suffix like 니은 or 는. You can just put 타고 straight after adjective stem. Just 타고. And when it's 이다, so we learned that 이다 always comes after a noun, right? When you're quoting a sentence that ends in 이다, in that case, it's not 타고, but instead, you would put 라고. So for example, if you say 학생이에요, 이에요 is a conjugation of 이다, right? 학생이에요. And if you want to say someone said, or 지수 said that she's a student. This sentence, she's a student. 학생, the student, she's a student, ends in 이다 verb, right? 이다 verb. So when you're quoting 학생이에요, you can say 학생이라고. You have to put extra 이 because 학생 ends in 받침. 학생이라고 말했어요. 학생이라고 말했어요. She said that she is 학생이라고 했어요. So 생각하다's past tense. 생각했는데. So she thought that it's a matter that's beyond her imagination somewhat. So 남녀가 만나, man and a woman meet. And then 마음을 나누고 share their heart and 미래를 약속한다는 것. The matter of the thing that man and woman meet and share heart and then promise a future. 것은 so this 뭔가 상상 밖의 일이다. This is somewhat beyond my imagination. 라고 생각했는데. I somehow thought that. 생각했는데. So 는데 comes from this sentence connector 그런데, which means but. So 생각했는데, I thought that, but, 우리는, for us, as for us, 우리는 자연스럽게. So we learned this K when we were doing Lisa's post. So 즐겁다, we learned means to be joyful, right? 즐겁게, by adding K, you make the adjective into adverb, so it means joyfully. It's an adverb, right? So 자연스럽다 means to be natural. It's an adjective that means natural. And by adding K, it makes it into an adverb. So 자연스럽게, naturally, for us, naturally, 여기, here, where we are now, basically as an engaged couple. 여기까지 has a lot of meanings. If it's placed after time, it would mean until. So 1시까지 would be until 1 p.m., till 1 p.m. And if you put it after a place now, it would be to, as in like your destination. So if you say 서울에서 부산까지 운전해서 왔어요. From Seoul to Busan, 운전해서. So 어서 can also mean by verb ing. So by driving, I went from Seoul to Busan. So Busan is your destination. So it could mean to. To here, 오다, we came all the way here. 여기까지 오게 됐네요. 오다. 오 is from 오다, to come. And 게 됐네요. Let's break this down. So 오다 plus 게 되다 plus 왔었네요. So 오다 we learn means to come. And 게 되다 is used when something happened, not necessarily because you intended to, but more like the situation made it happen. It also implies the inevitability of the situation that happened. So it could mean like something ended up happening. Things led us here. So we made it all the way here. 게 되다. And then the next part. And then 되다 is conjugated in past tense. And it becomes 됐네요. She used 됐 because that's how it became. That's how it became. We became to come here. It ended up coming here as 썼네요. She's using the 네요 sentence ending. And 네요, always, 네요 is used when you're saying what you see or what you feel or what you realize now. Not in the past, but now. What you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're realizing now. So, now at the point of writing this, I can see that we ended up here. We came all the way here very naturally. Even if before I thought it was somewhat beyond my imagination for a man and a woman to share heart and promise a future, right? But for us, 자연스럽게 여기까지, all the way up here, 오게 됐네요. I can see that, we ended up coming all the way up here, all the way here. And there's also a past equivalent of 네요, which is 더라고요. You can add it after an adjective or verb's stem or 이다, verb stem or 이다. And this is used for something that you saw or felt or realized in the past. So for example, if you're studying Korean now and you feel that it's hard, you can say 한국어 어렵네요 because it's what you feel now, right? I feel now that 한국어 어렵네요. It's hard. But let's say you're talking about what you felt yesterday while you were studying Korean and you felt that Korean was hard. Then you can say, 어제, yesterday 한국어 공부했는데 or 한국어 시작했는데, 시작하다 to start, right? started I started Korean yesterday, but 어렵더라고요. I felt that it was hard. 어렵더라고요. This time you can add the past equivalent 더라고요 because this is something that you felt yesterday while you're studying Korean. So that's the difference between 더라고요 and 네요. And finally, the last sentence, 우리의 인연을, so 우리의, our, right? Our, 우리 plus 의, our 인연. So 인연 means connection, ties. And there's another word for relationship, which is 관계. But what's special about this word is that it implies more of the preciousness of the relationship or connection that's formed. So it could be used for parents and their children. It could be used for friends. It could be used for lovers. So 인연 means that kind of precious, more like meant to be relationship between people. So 우리의 인연을, our relationship을, and 운명 means destiny. 운명으로 만들다. So when you say noun을, another noun, 으로 만들다, this 으로 would mean into here. So it means 만들다, make, noun into another noun. So 만들다, make our relationship into destiny. 만들어준. Here you can see that she is using the 주다 auxiliary verb, right? We learned this auxiliary verb, what it means in least post, right? It always implies that the action is something that's kind or you feel grateful for it and it's done for the sake of other people, right? So 만들어준. And actually, there are three modifiers here. So 것 is the final modified noun. Things, right? Thing or things here. Thing. So there are three modifier parts that modify the thing. So what kind of thing it is? The thing that, actually, here, 만들어준 is a combination of 만들다 plus 주다 auxiliary verb plus 니은, 은 suffix. And we learned that verb, 니은, 은 suffix, is a past tense modifier, right? So it means the thing that made, right? That made, it's past tense, the thing that made our relationship into destiny. And 우리를 둘러싼, so 둘러싸다 means, so it literally means to wrap around, 둘러싸다, so it means to surround, 둘러싸다, 우리를 둘러싼, another past tense modifier, and 모든 means every, all, it's an adjective that means all, every, so everything basically, 모든 것, everything surrounding us that made our relationship into destiny. 감사드려요. 감사드려요 is another word for 감사해요. 감사 itself means gratitude. 드리다 is an honorific of 주다. 드리다, when you're using 드리다. So there's another honorific of 주다, which is 주시다. The difference between 드리다 and 주시다 would be that 주시다 shows respect to the giver, the subject of the person that 주다 something, and 드리다 is usually used when you're giving something to someone or you gave something to someone that you want to show respect to. So here she is giving gratitude to all her fans or the people that cheer them on, right? So she is using 드리다 to show respect to all the fans. So she's giving gratitude and she's showing respect to the receiver of that gratitude. So that's why she's using 드려요. 감사드려요. 우리의 인연을 운명으로 만들어준 우리를 둘러싼 모든 것에 감사드려요. Our relationship, 운명으로 into destiny, 만들어준, the thing that made our relationship into destiny, that surrounds us, everything that surrounds us, 그것에 감사드려요. I feel grateful for all that. Okay, so thank you for following the lesson, and I hope you learned many new words and grammar points from it. And feel free to Mirinae the sentences we learned as a review, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!